to the Sing Pod,
where we talk about life,
love,
work,
and everything in between.
Welcome to our journey.
Season 2, it is what it is. Nakama Kawaida, we are back, bigger, better, ready to do this. I hope you guys are super excited because we are. It's been a longer break, senior.
Yes.
But to go half see for consistency because you know what it is. Anyway, today's episode on the internet currently, or like let me say recently, there's been a conversation about some beautiful couple. I personally am absolutely obsessed. So this episode, we're basing it from a tweet that basically was about this particular couple. Mm-hmm. So I'm going to call this couple X. So the female in the X, I think doing something they were doing, she said something.
X, can we call her Olive?
Olive. So Olive, when they were doing whatever they were doing, so this girl, this is someone else referring to this relationship. So she says, Olive said how she wanted a man that could take care of her because she's a firstborn and needed to breathe, and I have never related to anything more. A man who will make me rest or nothing at all. You.
A man.
May all firstborn daughters get providers only. Thank you.
Amen.
Amen. Hallelujah. Woo. Amen to that. I think Lorraine can relate. Lorraine, in fact, a good one there. Just tell us, eh? What are your thoughts on this matter?
100% agree. Honestly, as a firstborn daughter, I know for sure, we do the most of the taking care of people in the house, like your siblings, and sometimes to even extend to parents. And that is whether it's in house chores, whether it's financially, whether it's like all kinds of things. You're kind of expected to step up and be like quote unquote the second parent. Like I have an older brother, but still a lot of expectations are put on you on like the cooking, and it depends also with the difference in journeys, but also because I started working before and things like that. So there's the contribution to what you're doing in the house beyond just the chores is financially as well. And I think it makes firstborn daughters hyper independent. Like honestly, I'm very hyper independent. I think most of the time, even when I'm going out with people, either I feel very weird when someone suggests like they pay for me or things like that. I'm very aware I'll budget either I'm paying for the entire thing or we are splitting the bill. But then in instances where someone's like, no, don't worry, I'll cater for it. I'm like, what? This is new. This is news. Oh my gosh. So it's like you're so hyper independent that you don't even ask for help. Like you got this, you'll figure it out on your own. Yeah. So that's just been my entire journey. So when you get a man who can actually help you rest in your femininity, then that changes things and you feel really like it's hard to adjust, but it kind of also makes you feel really special and really nice because you didn't get to experience that growing up.
Well, I absolutely agree. Not because I'm a firstborn daughter, sit coaching. But in the sense that as a woman, it feels really nice to like be feminine 100% and just rest on that cover that is a man. You know, 100% I'd do it any day by myself. I am very independent. I rarely ask for help. I will die before I do so. But one of the things that I have enjoyed is when you don't even ask for the help and it is offered.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my gosh, unasikianga vizuri sana.
Yeah.
There's something you mentioned about splitting bills. Like you being the firstborn, like you're okay with splitting bills.
Yeah.
That's funny. Which kind of men are you looking at? Are you seeing?
You see, I mean, I don't know. In today's age, like it's finding someone who'll be like, no, I got this.
Me actually, rarely. I don't think I've ever split bills with anyone.
Why you pay the bill?
Yeah.
Okay.
And
Why?
Why?
So
because
meaning when you don't have the money, the date won't happen.
Yeah.
You guys are so toxic.
No, that's dependent, and this.
But
is
it
the thing.
depends.
It
I think
depends.
it depends with what kind of a relationship. It's
Both
because
of you
I
are.
think for Ryan, I don't think he's in a relationship.
For those listening,
so for him, he can plan. I will meet you when I have money. But for some people is I'll speak for myself. So for me, when I want to meet my significant person, I think money is not always on the table, whether I have or don't have. The most important thing is seeing each other and spending time together. So
And also communicating if you have the money
yes,
you don't
and
have.
May
also
communicate.
So for me, when I don't have, I communicate, and when I have, I also communicate.
Perfect.
And when we should come together, we should also communicate. I think the whole point of this thing is good communication, and I feel like even for this firstborn daughter thing and what not, there's a point where she had written, "May firstborn daughters get providers only." So it's like everything else they cater for themselves, and may they be provided for. So for me in my head, I'm like, is it provision only that is needed in a relationship, or is it? Are there other factors that come into play?
Yeah,
I mean, can provision be beyond financial?
finances.
It's provision of protection, provision of security, provision of like you provide security, you provide a financial help, you provide assistance, and assistance is not just, it can be assistance in house chores. Like generally for myself, I can't be with someone who won't enter the kitchen.
Imagine
Tufike kwa nyumba, si wote tumetoka kazi, because in this life we are all working. Alafu either worse umefika mbele yangu ukaketi and then nifike and uko zile za tunakula.
Imagine.
Shoot me now, because
I think
because I'm just like, you're also gonna eat and partake, and generally I feel like guys who are bachelors, they cook for themselves as well.
Yeah, they do.
So why is it that when we enter into marriage, for example, you expect me to always do the cooking and washing the dishes and all these kinds of things? So it's not provision just financially. It's just the support you get and the help you get even around the house.
So do you think there are weak men out here?
Yes, definitely.
Definitely.
There are.
So-
But there are also weak
everybody
women.
can be weak.
Anyone can be weak.
So I think now that also comes to, I think, how the society is currently, where men are not taking up the role of being men, and they are leaving the burden to women. Even that aspect of protection. There's a guy who can be approached by other guys and then run away and leave the girl there.
Survival for the future.
Kila mtu na Mungu wake.
It happened.
Hey,
Yeah,
God,
stories,
every
actually.
man for himself,
Yeah.
God for us all.
But for me, I think all this circles around also how families are structured.
Yeah.
Because all this firstborn thing is just it's another way of naming traumas that children are put through just because they are the eldest child in the house, where all chores are on you. Even when your younger siblings don't do chores, you're like, anakosa je kufanya na uko hapa kwa hii nyumba, and other things. So,
You're expected to be the most responsible one.
yeah, so
And everything is blamed on you.
yeah, which is a very good thing.
How is that a good thing?
It is a very good thing because it teaches you to be responsible over yourself and others.
But what about the rest who are not held accountable?
What should be done is every person should now be held with the same kind of accountability and responsibility in the house. So parents out there, please teach your children from the first to the last born to have responsibilities in the house and hold them accountable. Stop picking on the eldest sibling, or why didn't this happen and you are here. The other child also is equally responsible for every other thing that you have assigned them. So I would I would for me my 2 cents in this would be that so with this firstborn thing, like most people who call them firstborn, they want a man who will carry all these burdens for them so that they can at least rest or take a break from what they have grown into, because of what they have gone through. So it is now like, it is also a burden on the man, because every I feel like also men they don't want a daughter, they want a wife. They're not becoming fathers to people. You see, like we have sometimes you get a girl who now gives you all the burdens. You start even providing for their mom. I've had friends who are called by the mom to their girlfriend to send something home. Or if you
to the girlfriend.
Yes.
We're not married. We're not married.
And we are not married, so
it's not my responsibility.
So you see, it is. So you also husbands or boyfriends also, they want a person who's also they can rest into, other than, because also as first leave alone the growing up. Once you start becoming independent, it's a whole rat race. As a man, you can't depend on no one. Everything is on you. Your whole future. Your sometimes your friends, your family. You're taking care of your families and whatnot. So you end up carrying a whole burden.
I think that also depends on the family as well.
Yeah.
Because I don't think it's the same for all men, and just generally for all families, it just depends if you're from a family that you're paying black tax or not. Because there are families that are already established, like no one will call you to ask you for anything. Like if you send as a gift, that's well and good. Mm-hmm. But if you're from a family that expects black tax, then I think the height of it is mostly on the male side of things. Like guys get the heat of it.
Yeah. So we are Jongea since we started.
I think this whole conversation, just the root of it is how I think we view relationships as the safety net to sort of get to experience love in a way that you've either been giving or you've not experienced before. Because I think Olive expressing that was a thing of, she has known love, she has experienced love, but you see, sometimes the way you give is not how you receive.
Yes.
And people think how you give and how you receive should be different, but innately, I believe that the way you give normally, if you ever find someone who gives it back the same way, that is the most fulfilling feeling. So it even brings the question
You've been touched.
Quality time. Oh yes.
It even brings the question of, and Juguna, I think you can expand, you seeing how you've grown up. Okay, don't expose yourself too much. But
please feel free.
What do you think about that kind of thing of, because this is how I'm used to giving, then how would it make sense if I was receiving?
If this is how I've been giving, how will it make sense? This is how I've been receiving.
Yeah, like how she said, how she's like, being a firstborn daughter, I'm used to providing, being nini. So it feels really nice to be in a relationship where this man is actually doing all this for me.
Actually, what she has said is basically true. And this is when someone tells you acts of service is something that I love giving to people. And to them, they might not know, but even them receiving those acts of service is something important they treasure. For me, I know it's quality time and acts of service. Gifts, not really. And as well, I love receiving quality time and acts of service. So I think probably she gave too much of being responsible.
She
has not been receiving that. And now that she's receiving it, she's settling in. And she's comfortable.
Actually, when we're talking, I'm just thinking of, can it actually be something that you need to communicate? Because I feel like also a lot of disappointments in relationships happen when there's no communication of expectations, which leads to a lot of disagreements. So for example, if I enter into a relationship, I expect, like, if I'm not receiving something that I feel is important to me, I'll be able to communicate that. For me, I love flowers, I love receiving gifts, and the fact that you're not buying me anything, I do not feel like you're communicating how much you love me, right? Because just because you're doing it, someone else won't necessarily digest it as this is what you would love as well, you know? Because they will, and I always love to say this, love someone the way they appreciate and want to be loved. And so if someone hasn't, so there are two ways to communicating that, and there are two types of people. There are people who will just kind of read and understand who you are as a person and feel like now they've known what you need. And there are people who will need to be told, this is exactly how I need you to love me. So there's also the communication of when you enter into a relationship, and even based on past experiences, you're able to communicate your expectations and what you want, and anything that has worked for you and what hasn't worked in the past that you would like, even for things you would like to be changed in the relationship, or how you'd like to, you know, take things moving forward. It's almost like a performance appraisal. But it's just being able to communicate your expectations so that they're met and the disappointment is lower.
So for firstborn daughters, so it depends also with, I think there's some attributes that are more on firstborn daughters, or not even firstborns, then other factors are more on lastborns, the middle child. There's so many attributes that come with such things. So that's why, as she said, communication is key. Plus, I feel like sometimes some people only feel loved when their particular need has been met. Some people want providers, but only providers for money. Some people want providers, but only providers for
emotional
support, dates, and what. So I feel like sometimes, mostly on women, there's a fantasy in the head that is not communicated.
That's fact.
So they end up feeling so inadequate or not satisfied because they have all these, like, we have even our parents, we have seen it in our parents, where your mom feels like you need to wear matching kitenge clothes. That is love to her. And the fact that you're refusing,
you don't love
is
her,
making her think,
I think essentially there's like a saying I really like, and it's normally is it a saying or it's how I phrase my thoughts? It is uncommunicated expectations breed disappointment.
Yes.
Where in your head you have an idea,
Yes.
you expect a human being to act or fit into a certain narrative, but these expectations are only in your head. So there is no communication, there's no, like, verbatim, you haven't said this is how I would like us to move, I would like us to operate. So you see, I feel like even for Olive, if she was in a situation where, you see, she is openly expressing expectation, even just from that conversation, she has communicated what she's expecting from a relationship, a provider. But if she was in a relationship where she had not communicated that, then I don't think that relationship would make any sense whatsoever for her, because it would be like back to basics, back to I need to do, I need to wear the pants, I need to be in front, I need to provide, I need to always be in front. So
and it will be the initiator.
Exactly. So it's very important to note that unless you communicate your expectation, then that expectation stops at you. There's no action that will back it up unless you will back your own expectations yourself.
But I think also just generally being someone who has been there is, you also like the guy to take charge. So sometimes as a woman, you don't necessarily want to always say what you want. Like, you expect them to almost know and just figure it out. Like, I don't want to tell you each and everything. Like, research, do the work. I don't know what you do. Like, just figure it out.
So in short,
I have a question.
she said there's two people. Her, she's the one who wants to be learned. She doesn't.
I don't want to have to tell you. Like, I don't have to spell everything out for you. You just figure me out, like learn my behavior, see what I like.
And that's why I hate dudes who ask
discussions
you,
we have.
Auntie, how are you? What do you think? How would you act if this happened? I'm like, nigga,
tell them what to do.
Look at me and decide who I am. What the heck is that? Hey, what's an animator for that?
The thing is this, to the men watching and to the men listening, the women know what they want.
Guys!
Exactly. You're the ones who figure out what we want for us. That is your want as a man.
Yeah, so to the guy watching, to the guy listening, make the decision. Decide for them.
They want to be learned.
Don't ask. Do you want the chicken? Bring the chicken.
Yeah, bring the chicken. If I don't like it, I'll tell you I don't like it.
Exactly. Don't ask me.
Like, if you ask, what kind of, why are you asking?
So I brought the chicken and you told me you don't like it.
See, now next time you won't bring the chicken, you'll bring something else. But now you learn.
See.
You learn from the experience.
Anyway, by the way, so
You learn from the
Confusion. Confusion.
ladies, please let us first know. First thing, please know that life does not revolve around you.
It does. Trust me, nigga.
I can't
your
go.
life does
I
not
can't
revolve
go.
around
I
me.
should be
I
the whole
don't want
world.
it. Believe me, I am
can't
your
go.
world. I am
I
the
can't
air
go.
you breathe.
I can't go buy chicken only for you not to like it.
See,
No.
next time you come with nyama choma.
No, next time I won't come with
And still speak.
Behind the scenes says, Nahi economy. My economy,
What's the other option? What's the other option? Me pretending to like it and then you bring it next time.
Again,
And I still don't
no
like
way.
it. What?
You
Okay, then that's it.
communicate what you want. You communicate
But
what you want.
in
Babe,
all
what can I
honesty,
bring home
Manu,
for dinner?
Babe,
The
please
truth
think
is,
about it. You.
Don't say anti women don't know what they want. Even you guys don't know what you want.
For sure.
Everybody doesn't know what
They
they
want
want
a Ferrari, want a Bugatti.
until you actually have it and figure out, by the way,
I like
I
this.
don't want
This is why people in relationships need new experiences.
Yeah.
You also learn what you like and don't
In
like
the process.
in the process. And that's why dating is important. You go to new places, you taste something, you're like, I don't like this, I don't
Boiled,
like
boiled sausages.
It's like,
yeah, this
we
nigga
passed
boys
the road.
sausages. But this nigga, I mean, Juguna.
But yeah.
Boiled sausages are good for your health. Don't use
Yeah.
fat to cook.
We discovered that Juguna is the only person who likes boiled sausages.
Kappa oil.
Yeah.
These other refineries. I am bringing out.
Please black that part out. Who do you? So interesting. So what I would like to know, because how this group of ours is set up, I'm going to expose you guys for a bit. The two males in our company are only boys in their family, so they just have sisters.
Yes.
So I also know that being an only guy, you are exposed to some things. Maybe you have to match up, be the man of the family, things like that. Does that also influence you guys in the dating scene?
Yeah. And how was the change between growing up, like when you were younger, and then now that you're older? Were there a dynamic shift?
I think for me, what I'll say is I have sisters all through, and they're older than me.
Okay, you both are last-born boys.
Last-born, only boys.
And we have sisters actually ahead of us, interestingly. So for me, my firstborn sister used to take responsibility, which big up, son. Like there's these sandwiches she used to bring.
Sandwiches.
I love them.
Sandwiches
from Ushumi.
How would like to take this opportunity?
Oh, from Ushumi Hyper. But anyway, big up my sister. I love you. She's called Esther. I love that woman.
We love you, Esther.
I love you, Esther.
Yeah, we love you, Esther.
And even Debbie, I have a sister called Debbie.
We love you, Debbie.
And also Mary, I love you.
He has a sister
We
called
love you,
Mary.
Mary.
Imagine.
I've known you for how long, Juguna? I've never known that.
Juguna's
I'm
family
so
life is
messed up.
usually a secret.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah. So, me for one thing is, as much as they have been helping me as I was growing up, coming to what is it called, visiting days, bringing me stuff. They had boyfriends. Yeah, boyfriends come handy. So the boyfriends used to
Do something.
see, they knew they are coming to bring Malik Kwangu. Like I had to make a decision also before they were trying to buy me off. But
We had
anyway.
nothing.
So the thing is, I learned to take up responsibility quite early because I've seen the burden it brings upon them. And my dad was a very good dad. He is a very good dad, not that he's still around. Very good dad, very awesome dad. Big up, Mr. Steve. Anyway, so for that matter, having grown and them taking up responsibility, which I don't know why it happens that way, that just being a firstborn daughter, you just have to. So when I started working, I used to take them out to lunch during their birthdays, buying them random gifts, and they appreciated. And also loaning them money. It feels good, by the way. It feels good loaning them money. We loan each other. But anyway, for that matter, I try as much. And I mean, nataka kuomoka. Me, I'm going to omoka me. Me, I'm omoka really.
Amen.
But anyway, this all actually is just to ease as much as they have their husbands. So of course they are providers, blah blah blah. But since they came through when I was growing up, definitely have to come through namna that. Yeah. And it's not only money issues. So these days I'm usually present for their children, like my nephews.
Yeah.
I'm very present for my nephews.
That's so true.
Yeah. I usually visit I love my nephews. CJ over there, Josh over there.
They won't listen.
Yeah, when you grow up. When you grow up. Your uncle loves you. But anyway, I think
That's a call. Let's give the call.
I took up that responsibility of even that going to take care of their children, making their children
Hey.
of the world.
Well,
The children are very comfortable and also getting the gifts and snacks and whatnot.
Yeah.
I think that also isn't the burden on them. So that's a way I also
Feel like you had to step up.
I had to step up. Yeah, that's my case.
So do you think it will ever affect you in a relationship?
So actually, this is something. Being in a relationship also has affected me. As I said earlier, I usually hear stories of people splitting bills half. Maybe with friends I've done that, but like with a significant other, I've never done that, which is very interesting. I usually hear people do that.
but it's nice.
Interesting.
It's nice. So nice.
You know, splitting bills.
No.
Yeah.
Paying for the
Paying for
work
them.
bill.
Oh yeah, so that
It's nice, lakini si ati sasa utuimbie uliza kiatu hapo.
Oh.
Kai, as long as Kai,
Exactly.
there are these guys who foot the bill and then go complain about it
Yeah.
consistently.
It's
So,
just a lot.
Like you're just doing it out of the point of love and because you want to, you check.
You don't
this
feel like
person.
it's a loss on
Exactly.
you.
Yeah, and I actually don't feel as if it's a burden to me. So
Yeah.
And you?
But not as that when you don't have the money, you guys can't go out.
No, we do, and this is the thing.
You said you don't go out.
No, you didn't.
Just
I didn't finish the
play
statement.
that clip,
I
buddy.
am Aliza
I
Wasi.
didn't finish the statement.
Don't worry, when he doesn't have money, he takes the girl out on his bike for a
Yeah,
ride.
alright, to see nature.
Alright, like
Very
you
cheap.
see me
Fuel is very
rolling.
cheap in Kenya. I can show you.
Yeah, fuel
Massimo.
is cheap to him,
Yes.
so he takes the girlfriend out on a ride.
Yeah. But for that matter, it's not that I don't go out for a date or anything. There are very many things you can do. A date doesn't mean you go to a 5-star restaurant. It doesn't mean that you go for what is it called? Places people go to.
Which places?
Yeah, but you ask me
Bowling,
because
do
I
bowling and
go.
whatnot. Yeah, you. This lady.
High class.
High class. Go.
Let it be known.
Yeah, so you can do something simple, even just cooking. Let me tell you, a date even is just cooking a good meal, going somewhere with that person, eating that meal.
A date is literally a walk.
Even a walk, even just sitting down and just spending time together and having good conversation.
Go for sure.
You don't have to. Movies are torturing you guys. You are
Hi, sorry, sawa.
They're not torturings, they always cook together. alafu
Watch
wanapaka
Bollywood.
Maunga.
People don't go for dates in Bollywood.
They sing.
Petrika.
Hey.
Manu, how is it for you? Like, do you think it's made your stance on a relationship any different just because you're the only guy?
Yes. Okay, for me, yes. I'm like Ryan. I have 3 sisters or 4 sisters, and I'm the only dude. So, growing up, actually, they took care of me. My sisters took care of me. My primary school. Then at some point now, our firstborn became like my mom. So he also took care of me very well. And even in high school, like the way Ryan, used to come with their boyfriends for visiting. They come with snacks. They come with things.
Must be nice.
Must be nice.
Mashallah.
Oh.
Mashallah.
Yeah. So I think fast forward now, when I grew up to be older, then now I think now I realize the responsibilities I have. So at some point it switches and you're becoming now the firstborn, because some decisions
Need to be made by
by a man.
Especially from our side of the country.
Yes. So I will be there in the negotiations.
Yeah.
I'll decide what happens at home and what not.
Yeah.
Sometimes we have now the sibling issues. You are supposed to solve them, like. So I think it reached a certain point. I stopped even depending on them, and now became like now their elder brother. So now they depend on me emotionally, sometimes financially, and I don't feel so. For me, how it has shaped my point of relating to a woman. First, I don't mind being paid for, because I was paid for with my sisters. You get?
Yeah.
I think for some people it's an issue because like, you're a girl, why are you doing that? So it makes them feel less of a man.
Yeah.
Not
And
it doesn't make me feel less of a man. It's just that I don't know. I just don't feel comfortable.
Yes,
Like
so that is what feeling less of a man is.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, you can be uncomfortable without feeling less of a man.
I don't
Okay,
think so.
so for me, I'm not uncomfortable because number one, it taught me, and also I think I'm from a quite humble background, so I think it taught me not to feel, because I feel like most men feel so. It's like they are injured when they are broke. You get? And me part
The
of
whole of who they are is dependent on their
and
financial
what they
standing.
have. And also your male friends will start judging you about with what you have in your pocket.
Yeah.
So for me, became a matter of I stopped feeling, because of how I've grown. I've been helped with a lot of people.
Yeah.
So I think out of humility or something, I'm never ashamed of not having. So I will communicate not having, even to anyone. I'll be like,
Same.
I can afford this much, we will go here. I don't have money, we can go here. Or if they offer to take me out, I will not mind. Yes. So I think that is how it has shaped me. And I feel like it has helped me to be able to communicate better, because even growing up, my dad or even uncles, once they have, they don't want to show you they don't have. So they'd be like, I remember when I was in class 5, I was promised I'll be bought a bike when I'm number 1, and I became number 1,
Where is the bike?
and I was not bought a bike. And the fact that I remember up to now, it really hurt me by the way. So for so many years, I think I never reached number 1 ever again in my life. I was number 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
From behind.
I know. So I think even at this point, when I look back, if I became number 1 again,
Yeah.
I will feel so sad, or I'll feel like, now what for? You get?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's how it has shaped me in relationships.
I think having heard from the only males and firstborn daughter, I am almost a lastborn daughter. I have older siblings, so in essence I've been taken care of all my life. I'm the same with these two in terms of right now I'm taking care of my nieces. I'm there for my sisters in other ways, like if they need me to babysit and they're busy, like, but their life is always just like a cycle. They take care of you and then you get to take care of them.
Or their children.
Has it shaped how I am in a relationship? 100%, in terms of I'm very open-minded, open-spoken. Like I'm an open book, in short. I don't want to be in a relationship where a man feels like he has to be a man and carry things by themselves. I want to be in a relationship where you can openly state how things are and not fear that I will look at you less off, because I understand the value of respect. And in any seat that I sit and there's no respect, I walk out. That's
Big up as yet.
that's it's Asian man. She walked out of an interview the other day. She was asked a question about that kind of thing for the government, and she had said isiulizwe, and she was like, "You're not respecting my brand." So anyway, love is a beautiful thing, and I think essentially people call them traumas, but I recently learned the power of the term. So however you term something, it becomes a reality in your mind.
Tell them.
So I don't call it traumas, it's just the foundational stages of your life.
Yeah.
So they normally affect how you love, they shape how you receive love, how you give love,
That's
and
true.
everything about love.
Okay, yeah. Actually,
And
in
who you
psychology,
are, even personality
they are just patterns, actually. It is just roots in the mind that form or are out of experiences.
Yeah.
They have a name, but I don't remember.
And they don't normally stick. They can change too.
Yes,
Yeah, they can
change.
definitely
They can be rerouted. So actually, from now on, let's not call it traumas. They are patterns.
Yeah,
Okay.
they're patterns.
But there are some things that are actually traumas. So, but
Yeah,
it's just
that was a
refer
pattern.
to patterns as patterns and
Yeah.
traumas as traumas.
Yeah,
There are patterns too.
but
Traumas
a
are
normal
patterns.
thing of growing up in a family that you have to step up, don't call it a trauma. That's life. Yeah,
Okay.
my opinion. But anyway, thank you so much for tuning in. If you're listening to us on podcast or you're looking at us from YouTube, even the Suka, by the way. Anyway, until next time, bye.
Cheers.